Why does short-term thinking kill long-term legacy for most people?
Long-term legacy, short-term thinking. Well, Americans.
You mean just Americans? It would just be done.
Yeah, I mean, that's our nature. I mean, it's just our nature. And I've taught this in our Tuesday classes, right? We are our default setting. Our default setting is first and foremost chaos. That's the default of our nature. It's chaos. It's lazy. It's undisciplined. It's fat and sassy, whatever you want to call that. That is the nature that we have been born into. The earth's nature is chaos, right? You have to do absolutely nothing for weeds to grow. You have to do absolutely nothing for your car to rust. You have to do absolutely nothing to get overweight. All you have to do is be alive for these things to happen. But for order to arrive, someone has to do something. And it doesn't matter in whatever terminology you want to use that. For order to be seen, let's just use that. So for order to be seen, you can rest assured if somebody has a nice front lawn, you can rest assured there has been the hands of someone that touched it, because in its nature, it's chaotic. So when you talk about the difference between short-term thinking and long-term, quote-unquote, legacy, it's short-term is chaos. Mm-hmm. What feels good to me right now, and long-term is discipline, right? You know, you have to, I want to do what I want to do right now and that feels good to me versus can I have a delayed gratification and hold, right? And these are the two things that are imbalanced in our lives because we were born into chaos. And the earth in and of itself, I can show you in Genesis, you've heard me teach this before, that the earth is framed in chaos. That's God's design, that the earth was framed in chaos. And so where we see order, we know that somebody put their hand to it, right? And that's how we can see the dominion mandate exercise, right? We see somebody that's done something significant, that looks good, that has worked hard, and you go, you put in work to do that. You put in work to build that business. You put in work to do whatever the case may be. So you have these two natures, if you will, that live inside of us.
Yeah.
Right? That's what Paul said. Yeah. I've got these two things fighting against me every day of my life. It's one wants to do good, and the other one's saying, heck no, I don't want to do that, right? You have these two dimensions. So the difference between short-term thinking, which is undisciplined living, and long-term thinking or long-term legacy thinking is the disciplined lifestyle, the delayed gratification. We're born with this over here, John. We're born with this chaotic nature, right? We're born with that. We don't have to work for that. It's already there. So I think the ease of the question that you ask is, why is this so? Because this is easier. This is just easier. It's easier. I don't have to put effort into being this.
Yeah.
I don't have to put effort into being undisciplined. I don't have to put effort into being short-range thinking. This is easy. Whatever feels good to me today, I'll just do it, right? The old saying was, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Yeah. Now, if you mistake that and say, well, it's a Hershey bar or a Snickers, a Snickers a day keeps the doctors. No, see, you can't do that. It's an apple. It's not a Snickers bar. So if you do that and you go, well, I want a Snickers bar today, and you eat the Snickers bar and you see no results. Now watch. You see no results from that. And we have this conversation after, and you go, well, I just had a Snickers bar. Nothing happened to me. Mm-hmm. Well, if you take that and you make that a lifestyle, then you have this short-term thinking, and chaos is going to reign in your physical body. Yeah. And those Snickers bars every day eventually is going to erode. It's going to erode your physicality. And then you have a problem later that you've got to answer for. So those are the two dynamics that live inside of each person. And each person has to, I have to deal with it. You have to deal with it. Simone has to deal. We all have to deal with this chaotic nature that is bent towards undisciplined and lazy, as opposed to this delayed gratification. So a short-term thinker is always, well, that's too hard for me. I don't really want to do that, John. I don't think that's the best way for me. As opposed to a long-term thinker goes, I will not eat that today because I think and believe that it's going to give me benefits later. So when it comes down to money, or wealth building or success in life, again, we just talked about in this last episode, it's seed time and then harvest. Seed time and then harvest. So the disciplined mind, long-term thinking says, I'll wait my turn. I'll wait my turn, and when my turn comes, I know there'll be a harvest there for me. The short-term guy, as soon as the corn sprouts up, he goes, I'm hungry, so I need to eat what I can eat, right? And that is the paradoxical lifestyle that we all have. We all have to deal with that every day. Paul said it in Romans, this nature I can't seem to get rid of. It's here no matter how good I get and no matter how much I actually do. This nature still abides with me. So you got short-term, long-term thinking, and they're always going to be there. The procrastinator is the short-term thinker, right?
Yeah.
The actionator, I just made that word up. The actionator is the long-term.
George Bush right there.
I just made that up right there. Actionator, Terminator. When I said that, I thought of Arnold Schwarzenegger. But you have this short-term thinker, the procrastinator, versus this long-term thinker, the action person. And what's funny is there are times in your life where you've been a short-term thinker. And then there are times in your life where you've been an action taker. And you said, I'm going to do this because in the future I know there's going to be results for me. But every day it's this constant parallel pull that you have between the two. And you have so then what? And then I'll take your Bible. What did Jesus say we had to do? Die to yourself daily. If you want to be a disciple of mine, you have to bring yourself to a daily death so that you can follow in the new way, the long-term way. So that's the basis of that. It's just, I'm born into chaos. I need order. But in order for me to create order in my life, I have to decide and I have to discipline myself. That's all there is to it.
We talked about a lot in our Tuesday meeting, so it's coming back right now on this. So one of the things obviously that's happening is when you have the short-term payoff, you have the dopamine hit or whatever.
Yeah,
you
man.
kind of start chasing that. I feel pleasure in whatever. Maybe it's procrastinating, maybe it's eating the Snickers, whatever. I don't feel pleasure in lifting the weight at the gym or pushing away the plate or whatever. But we talked in there about neuroplasticity. We talked about the route in your brain that's the most worn is it's the natural electricity, your electrician. So kind of talk about the process then of moving from the default setting of this is easy, and then you end up with chaos. What is the process you take yourself through to like rewire that thinking? Because that's absolutely, it's really not natural what you're talking about doing.
Right.
So how do you get to the unnatural side to produce the things you actually want later?
That's a really good question. So it isn't natural, but our brains and our body are the gray matter. Our brain is gray matter, and it's movable, if you will. And electricity moves to its least resistant pathway. So whatever is least resistant to it, that's the way it's going to go. It's going to flow to whatever is easy. That's the way electricity runs. So whatever you have done is creates pathways in your brain, in your physiological body. So whatever you have been doing as a default has a created pathway. So when electricity fires in you and you go to make a decision, the power, if you will, of your body moves towards that path. It goes down that pathway. In order for you to retrain your brain, you have to, by define discipline, no, I'm not going that way. I'm going to go this way. So I think they say 21 days is when a habit begins to take root inside your physical body. So that what I'm saying is if you have this undisciplined chaos and you're trying to get over here to disciplined order, you have to make decisions against this natural set, right? This lazy, undisciplined person, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You have to make decisions that are 180 degrees opposite of that, or at least are pointed in the direction of your desired outcome. So I want to lose weight. The Snickers bar looks really good. My mouth tastes it. My eyes see it, right? All those things. I have to decide that this is better And regardless of how I feel, I'm going this direction. And if you do that enough, this old pathway that you had in your brain, the firing of the electricity will fire in a different direction. Again, how long does that take? It takes as long as it takes. But if you'll do it for 20, like if you fasted from Snicker bars for 21 days, and every time you had the thought, I'm not saying that you eat Snickers, John, but every time you had the thought.
I haven't been thinking one till now.
Till now.
I'll be like, man, I really want Snickers.
But every time you had the thought of eating the Snickers bar, and that pathway started to fire in your brain to push you toward that Snickers bar. If you went and ate a beet or whatever it may be, like, okay, well, I got beets in the refrigerator, and I'm gonna taste the beet. Every time I feel this way, I'm gonna do the beet instead. In 21 days, your brain will start to create another pathway that it will choose to fire down. And in that pathway, sooner or later, the habit will go toward the beet instead of the Snickers bar.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it. And you do it. I like everybody to do it in the small things, right? Because I teach, you have to have wins to gain confidence. And you have to have experience for confidence to grow. So I teach everybody, let's not start on the $1 million prize. Let's start on the $10 deal. And if you'll start small and go, well, I'm trying to lose 100 pounds, but if I get 1 pound, I'm going to feel good. And if you'll stack the wins, emotionally, if you'll stack the wins, those emotions will fire towards it. So the dopamine will shoot its way through the gray matter of your brain and begin to create a new pathway for itself. And the more you stack wins and you learn to celebrate those wins with an impactful emotion on those wins, the deeper that pathway will go. Yeah. And that's how you unwire and rewire something into your physiological framework. And so that's how you go from undisciplined or chaos to order. That's how you do it, right? Just sheer willpower, you can do it that way. Once that brain rewires itself, it'll shoot. When you used to think about that Snickers bar, you'll start tasting beets, and it'll shoot that way, and you'll be wanting beets, whether you love beets or not. You'll be wanting the beets over and over again. And then the big piece that I've seen in life, that I've seen people make the most leaps forward, is from an outside, what we call an outside hand, where you structure your life in a way that someone other than me becomes a sounding board, a louder voice in my own life than my own head and my own thoughts. And when that happens, it begins to reframe you, right? You think in a way that you haven't thought before, and that outside hand begins to help shape you in a different disciplined direction than what you were before. That is the biggest piece that I've ever seen, John, is that when people can adhere to a coach's sound, an outside voice's sound, outside hand sound, it helps to rewire that speedily. Yeah. Because when you trust somebody, there's an emotion attached to it, and it just does something different inside your body and your brain. And that thing can connect way faster. So I believe that everyone needs a coach in life. Everybody needs an outside hand. You need somebody that can help shape you, that's farther than you, that's seen what you're going to see, that is where you want to be, or whatever the case may be. Everyone needs that in their life so that they can reframe their position and get to where they're going. I've always had real leaps in my life when I connected to the right people in my life. Yeah. And so for me, that is the big monster piece of what we call quantum leaps, or whatever, however you want to phrase this. The big thing is getting in the room, getting in the connection with people that can help you get 10x faster than where you are. If you want that piece, click that link, join our group, connect to us, and let us help you walk down that pathway.